The world is full of mysteries. Despite the fact that technology is advancing every day and brings us closer to an incredible future, there are still very few things that human beings can do when it comes to facing paranormal or supernatural entities. Some men of science prefer to debate using reason, arguments, and hypotheses, but they don't really apply to the supernatural world. Skepticism pushes many to deny what they cannot see with their eyes, and unfortunately, these types of entities and apparitions cannot be contemplated, only felt. Do you believe in energy, in vibrations, in out-of-this-world sensations? You are not alone. Our planet is full of unknown phenomena and unexplainable events that can only be understood by those who are able to feel them. Today, we will talk about a creature that isn't well known in the Western world, but in the Middle East, they have known of its existence for centuries. We are talking about the Jinn, which are almost mythological creatures capable of transforming our worst fears into reality. Are you brave enough to know their story? Then get ready, because we have already begun. For centuries, Western countries have ignored the great culture that exists in the Middle East. For some reason, it seems strange and distant, as if it was something that has no relation to us. But knowing their stories can help us understand new and mysterious realities. In fact, many Jinn scholars claim that the supposed encounters with extraterrestrials that are recorded every year in the West are nothing more than encounters with these supernatural entities that inhabit another realm of existence. It may seem inconceivable to you, but researchers like Rosemary Ellen Guiley have dedicated their lives to unraveling this legend and turning it into something we can all understand. That is why in her book, The Vengeful Jinn, Unveiling the Hidden Agenda, she examines the Jinn and relates them to our reality. According to her extensive study, these entities are the key to understanding the realm of the supernatural. To understand this, it's necessary to understand what a Jinn is. In Islamic Arabic mythology, these creatures are not evil by nature, but are transformed according to the context in which they appear. Even so, they are usually associated with demons or evil creatures that can deceive, seduce, hurt, and even drive humans mad. Some of them may be invisible or appear as natural entities such as the wind, fire, or even ocean currents. However, they also have the gift of taking any form they wish, such as the genie of the lamp in Aladdin. They could be a dog, a bird, or that strange creature you found in the woods when you were camping the other night and assumed it was an alien. This makes Jinn a very difficult entity to prove or even contact, since every encounter is subject to possible being or not being a real thing. No one can assure or disprove it, and therein lies the power and paradigms of this legend. It is very difficult to measure what is real and what is a figment of our imagination. However, to what extent is everything we know and attribute to black magic or contacts with strange creatures out of this world really what we believe? This is the question researchers have been trying to answer. Some believe that strange demonic apparitions with supernatural creatures or malevolent animals actually maintain a connection with these entities, as they exert a much more powerful hold on our reality than we might come to believe. In fact, science has recently been analyzing and interpreting other dimensions of reality and space. It is speculated that jinns could come from these parallel worlds and these incomprehensible dimensions. This would explain why we are not able to perceive their manifestations and appearances, since our capacities are still limited and we only manage to interpret them in erroneous ways. Hence, many attribute their appearances to an alien or supernatural entity. We do not have a language that can describe what the Jinn really are, and this only complicates the understanding of these mysterious Oriental entities even more. One of the most intriguing encounters with a Jinn was by Philip Imbrogo, a European researcher who traveled through the Middle East trying to find a clue of this strange legend. It was only at the end of his journey, when his steps led him to Saudi Arabia, that he came across a wise man capable of telling him about these strange entities. Imbrogo had an insatiable hunger to understand the Jinn, and asked the sage all kinds of questions. He confessed that the Jinn he had known all his life were made out of fire and had a power that no army in the world could match. Their most important ability was in the manipulation of matter, as well as changing shape at will. Still dissatisfied, Imbrogo asked the sage to show him a Jinn, to which he agreed. The foreigner had to pay the expenses, but they traveled to the Selma Plateau in Oman, to an area known as Malis al-Jinn, or better known as the meeting place of the Jinn. Imbrogo advanced through the place, seduced by everything he saw. The world became small to him. He only had his eyes on what was in front of him. That afternoon, he was impatient to discover the mysteries he had been searching for so many months. And when they reached the huge cave in a mountain, he felt that the time had come. Imbrogo and the wise man entered the huge cave. At first, it was a straight path, but it soon became a mighty drop that threatened to bring him down. Both advanced for several minutes until, at one point along the way, the sage told him that from that place on, he would have to go by himself. Imbrogo was not happy with that, but he had already reached the place, so he gathered all his courage and entered what was the heart of the cave. There, a mysterious fog covered everything. He couldn't see anything except his own hands and body. He felt shivers and, oddly enough, he had the feeling that the fog was talking to him. The voice was strange, like a snore mixed with unintelligible words. Imbrogo was perplexed but was horrified when the mist concentrated on a single point, as if it were taking on the corporeal form of some creature he wasn't able to see. And then, a monstrous voice suddenly began to scream. Imbrogo was mentally debating between fleeing or staying, but then the fog darkened into a black shade. The air was suffocating, almost as if it had magically turned into smoke. And then, in a language that was not his own, Imbrogo heard such diabolical words that he decided to escape from the place. The sage was waiting for him outside the cave with a smile of satisfaction. Imbrogo was in front of a Jinn, but he also almost met his death. Of course, he was lucky, because a great number of people who encounter these entities do not live to tell the tale. In fact, many times their stories are told through relatives who pass on to their children and grandchildren the terrible end of those who encountered a Jinn. Humanity does not have the capabilities to determine the power or existence of the Jinn yet, but many remain optimistic. The study of these entities continues to grow every year, and it seems that it will not cease to do so in the near future. Someday, we will reveal the mysteries of these entities more precisely, but until then, the mere thought of them is downright terrifying. Although, if we are talking about terrifying, mysterious entities and creatures, the Jinn are just some of the many that you should know about if you are a fan of the world of mysteries. Would you like to meet them? Follow us into the bowels of humanity's greatest mysteries and get ready to unlock the images of your next nightmares. Are you ready? Then check out these videos.